Shabbos, but that would be 3 in a row. So we'll have to change it. I'm sure you're asking yourself, what's he doing here? How do I? Father just said I should speak in English. You understand?
He understands English. He's English.
My friend is very brave that he let me speak because, and he said I could say whatever I want. I could tell you a lot of stories. No? Okay. That's what Rabbi Halpern just told me, even if you just listen. For many years at the Kינוס, which was after Shavuos, amongst the many speakers, Mentlik used to host it, Real used to have the Siches. There was one English speaker. Zalman Jaffe, Olav Sholem. The Rebbe from Manchester, Mr. Manchester, the Rebbe told them that they should include him in the Kינוס.
I will translate. I don't understand the word you're saying.
It's for American. Why not?
היה יהודי, קראו לו זלמן ג'אפי, הרבי מאוד אהב אותו, הוא היה היחיד שבכינוס הוא היה מדבר באנגלית.
על פי הוראת הרבי.
על פי הוראת הרבי.
He didn't speak much about כינוס.
יש שאלה אם זה היה דברי תורה.
So I have a precedent.
יש תקדים.
Reminds me of the story. Tell a story about a balagola, a shtetl. He used to travel from city to city, and yeah, that's the way he made a living. He had a trip from one shtetl to the other shtetl. In between, it was quite a hilly and uphill a lot. And he starts to go. All the customers, all the paying customers come. He fills up the balagola, the argola, and he starts going. They go about a kilometer. He gets stuck in the mud, and the axle gets ruined. How are you going to go? So he asks amongst the passengers, maybe there's someone who could fix it. Punkt, help the Eivish, there was a carpenter there. And he had his klei melacha.
בלגול נשברה לו הגולה באמצע הדרך, וביב אחד הנוסעים היה איש עם כלים שיכל לתקן.
Okay, everybody gets off the argola and he fixes it. And go another few kilometers, and it's a lot of people, and they're going up the mountain, and the horse, one old horse can't make it. So he asks, maybe there's some people over here who could help push the argola.
הסוס היה אחד זקן, היה עלייה, אז אולי תעזרו לדחוף את העגלה מעלה ההר.
So there were two strong yeshiva bochrim over there. They get out and they push and they go over the hill. Get over the hill, there's an old Jew sitting in the argola, and he's having palpitations. He's not feeling well. It's a sakonis nefashos. So right away they stop and he asks, maybe, there's a doctor there. And the doctor has his utensils. Okay, and he gives him some medicine, he feels a little better, he goes further. So finally they come.
הגיעו ליעד.
ליעד. הטיסה נחתה. Okay, they pay him what they have to pay him. A Jew goes over to the balagola, one of the Jews, he says, I understand why you needed the carpenter. Because you had to fix the axle. I understand why you needed those yeshiva bachim, the strong, because you needed someone to push over the argola. I understand why you needed a doctor, because someone had a heart attack in your head. Yeah, I understand why we need you. You're the coordinator of the whole show. And, you know, you had to take the money, you have to support your wife and children. Can you tell me, was ist der geschleppte Alpenfeld?
הוא אמר, זה משל, הוא אמר לו, אני מבין למה היית צריך את הנגר שיעזור לך שהגרלה לא תתפרק, ולמה היית צריך את הרופא לעזור לידי מבוגר שלא ימות, ולמה היית צריך את השני הבחורים שהתחפו אותם במעלה ההר, אבל למה היית צריך את הסוס הזקן?
זהו השאלה שלי. What am I doing here? So I'll tell you what, I'll answer the question. אני בא להתפלל מעריב. אני לא עלינו באבלות, and I need a minion. So what time is it time for Ma'ariv?
That's when you finish.
No, I'm going to finish what time to Ma'ariv. 8:05? Okay, עוד כמה דקות. Huh? Yesterday they done 8:05. All right, we'll make it 8:10. Okay. Is that it? I don't know if I'll speak when I prepared or not. It's too long. First I want to speak wonderful. So, I'm sure everybody over here started to learn the Rambam again on Ba'iyer. There's an interesting ha'ara in the Rambam, which I'd like to mention to you. I only realized it. There's 40. It's the 40th Achzor. So I didn't do them all, but it's something interesting, and I think it's the front that is mainly yeshiva bochum here. And who am I to speak to yeshiva bochum? I don't know. This is the first time in my life, I think.
It was always the first time.
Yeah, it's a shayla have to make a shechionu, but you surely have to make a shechionu. Okay. If I'm not mistaken, the first time the Rambam mentions the concept of a Talmud Chacham is in Hilchos Deis, Perek Daled, Halacha Chav Gimel. It could be before, I don't think so. Anyone remember it before that? Yes.
בפרק ד' בהלכות דעות, זו הפעם הראשונה שהרמב"ם מזכיר את תלמיד חכם.
כן, זה...
האם מישהו זוכר לפני כן? הוא חושב שזו הפעם הראשונה בפרק ד' בהלכות דעות.
In Hilchos Deis, after that, the Rambam mentions it many times.
אחר כך זה מוזכר עוד הרבה פעמים.
However, the Rambam...
שבו, מישהו בנוח, שבו.
The Rambam... in the Fusim Hameduyakim, never ever. The Rambam never uses the Shem HaToyar Talmud Chacham. It's not in the Rambam. The Rambam always uses the term Talmid Chachamim. Now, a lot of people make mistakes in the Sichot, what's this called?
Sichat HaShavua.
Sichat HaShavua this week. I was in shul, not a Chabad shul. Mechat HaShalom HaShalbaz. He quotes the Rambam, Hilchot Deot, Halacha, Deis Hey, Halacha Yud Aleph, which is a mistake, it's Halacha Zayim. And he says, comes Rambam Medaber al Akdam HaShalom, K'may Talmud Chacham, Magzim Shalom HaCholay.
הוא אומר שבשיחת שבוע ציטטו הלכה, טעו גם כן בהלכה וגם בציטוט, וזה בעצם עצם הדיוק שהרמב"ם אף פעם לא כותב תמיד חכם, הוא תמיד אומר תמיד חכמים. ולכן הציטוט...
לא תלמידי חכמים, תלמיד חכמים. I'll soon explain the difference.
וזה משהו, על זה הוא רוצה לדבר. לא, זה לא שהוא רוצה לדבר על הדיוק ברמב"ם. במקרה הוא ראה את שיחת השבוע.
In Hilchos Deis you'll have it in Halacha. Okay. If I'm not mistaken, there's a Rambam, Madurat Chitrik, and the first time it's mentioned, it mentions a few, but Madura Chitik maintains that really there's no difference. That's Lefi Aniyadaiti, Lefi is Avanati.
Oh, they make a note?
They note it, but it seems to think that, it's just a question of... But the truth of the matter is, there's a major difference between a Talmud Chacham and a Talmud Chachamim.
הוא מציין שיש מהדורה ששם יש הערה, ששם מישהו כתב הערה, שבעצם הוא מדייק בלשון של הרמב"ם שכותב תמיד חכמים, והוא כותב, הוא מציין שבעצם אין ממש הבדל בין אם הלשון היה תמיד חכמים או תמיד חכם, אבל הוא רוצה להגיד אחרת.
If you learn today's Rambam, the Rambam knew Hebrew quite well. Unlike his other books, he wrote the Rambam, the Yad in Lashon HaKodesh. In today's Shir, which is, I only learned the first one because it ends over here. It's Tshuva. Perek HaSiri, and then whatever's the next one, I don't have. Okay. So you'll find many times the Rambam refers to a Chacham, even in Hilchos Deis, but he doesn't say Talmud Chacham. What's the difference between a Talmud Chacham and a Talmud Chachamim? Now in the plural it's all the same, it's both Talmidei Chachamim. But in the singular, there's a Talmud Chacham and a Talmud Chachamim. When you say Talmud Chacham, the focus, the Shem HaTorah is about the person, that he's a Chacham. Can learn as a ganze Talmud Chacham. Talmud Chachamim, the focus is not on the person. He's telling you that he is a student of those who are greater than him.
הדבר ראשון, ההבדל בין תמיד חכם ותמיד חכמים הוא על מי הפוקוס. אם אומרים תמיד חכם, מדברים על הבן אדם שהוא תמיד חכם, הוא חכם. אם אומרים תמיד חכמים, אז הפוקוס הוא לא עליו. הפוקוס הוא על החכמים, שהוא התמיד שלהם.
Okay, so that's a hard in the Rambam. Now let's speak to Tmimim. Some people understand English. If I could be controversial, I wouldn't. I don't know what I never went to another yeshiva. I only went to Chabad. It's hard to believe, but it's true. I didn't say I learned in Chabad, I said I went to Chabad. But the way I see it is, other yeshivas, without mentioning names, the focus is, and they force it into your head that you got to become a Talmud Chacham and you got to be a Godel, etc., etc. In Talmud Tmimim, what is expected of us, and what is asked of us, and what we can become, forget about a Talmud Chacham, but we have to become a Talmud Chachamim. And I think that is the another way of saying a Chassidish Yid. Okay. So, I therefore suggest that when you learn Rambam, and when there's a lot of the older prints, they always say Talmud Chacham. The Rambam Lam says Talmud Chacham. Doesn't say Talmud Chacham. Yeah. But you have to understand there is a major difference. Okay. Huh? What?
ההבדל שהוא רוצה להגיד הוא זה שהגישה של הישיבות שהם לא תומכי תמימים הוא זה שתהיה תמיד חוכם, ובתומכי תמימים הגישה היא שלאו דווקא שתהיה תמיד חוכם, אז שתהיה תמיד חכום.
Okay, the time is running late, so I'm going to...
No, you have another 20 minutes.
5 after 8, I'm done, you go to another. In the Sikhs, I was going to share with you a Maimer, Lavani in Tchias HaMesim, which is a beautiful Maimer on there. But the reason I was able to learn it is because it's in English. But it's based, okay, but one of the Nekudas that ever speaks about.
הוא רוצה להגיד נקודה מהמיימר לא מתחיס המייסים.
But I'm not, only one Nekuda. That the reward when Mashiach comes, in davening on Shabbos we say Enarech L'chov Shem Hagen B'Elam Hazeh Ben Zulos L'chai Elam Haba Efes B'Tachov Orgenu Ma'isem Mashiach Ben Dam L'cham Hashem L'Tchias HaMesim. There are 4 eras. There's Olam Hazeh, there's Olam Haba, which is Gan Eden, there's Yemais HaMashiach, and there's Tchias HaMesim. And these are 4 levels, which are not 4 separate levels. This is one built on top of the other. This is accelerating to a higher and higher madrega. The highest of which is Tchias HaMesim, and that's what the Mishnah, which says Kol Yisrael Yesh Lam Chelek L'Olam Haba, is referring to. The Rebbe writes that L'Olam Haba, in that Mishnah, is referring to Tchias HaMesim. And the question, of course, is how could it be that Kol Yisrael Yesh Lam Chelek L'Olam Haba? When it comes to the highest madrega of Tchias HaMesim, every Jew is going to be there. And when it comes to Olam Haba, which is Gan Eden, we know that not everybody gets into Gan Eden. And you have to have certain preparations. And the answer that Rebbe gives, based on the previous Mamorim, is that Olam Haba, Gan Eden, is a reward, is the schar for Limud HaTorah. And Tchias HaMesim is the reward for Kiyum HaMitzvahs. And mitzvahs every Jew does. Olam Haba is connected with Torah. That's why Olam Haba, in other words, Gan Eden, is a ruchniistic thing. And Kiyum HaMitzvahs is Begashmias, as was discussed earlier. Right? And so that reward will also be given in this room. Okay. Of course, this one good. But I want to share with you something on this. There is Kiyum HaMitzvahs. Everybody fulfills mitzvahs. You put on film, you wear tzitzis, you eat kosher, you do all the mitzvahs. But then, the Rebbe brings a medrash on Sfiras HaEmer about Svartim Lachem Machas HaShabbos, Emas Hayim Tmimim, and the Rebbe brings a medrash that Emes Hayim Tmimim is L'man Shem Oisim Ritzoynei Shel Mokim. So the Gemara says in Brachas, it says V'asafta D'ganecha, in the second Pasha of Kishma it says V'asafta D'ganecha, and the Gemara says, he brings another pasuk, it says that this is L'man Shem Oisim Ritzoynei Shel Mokim. The Rebbe asks the question of the Torah, how could it be Zman? It says, "V'hoyim shmaya tishum atzayis asher nech mitzvah be'eschem," right? But it says, "Ein sen shemakim." So what's the difference between Pasha Rishayna Shel Krishma and Pasha Shniya Shel Krishma? In Pasha Rishayna, we have After Hashem Elokei b'chol levav v'chol nafsh v'chol moedecha, and in the Pasha Shniya Shel Krishma, we don't have v'chol moedecha. How is Hashem Elokei b'chol levav v'chol nafshchem? It doesn't say v'chol moedecha. The Ava, V'chol Moedecha, in other words, B'Yigvul, that is the idea of Oisin Ritzoynei Shel Mokim. I'm sure the Bachar knows. But let's talk practical. What's the difference between being Mekayim Mitzvahs and being Oisin Ritzoynei Shel Mokim? Ask them.
מה ההבדל בין לקיים מצוות לבין לעשות עצמו של מקום?
אם זהו אותו דבר, או זהו שני עניינים נפרדים? שני עניינים, מה שני עניינים? So according, you see from the Sichos that Oisin Ritzoynei Shel Mokim is V'chol Moedecha. Let's be very, very practical. As I said before, you could do all the mitzvahs. You could do all the mitzvahs. And you're still not doing Oisin Ritzoynei Shel Mokim. The Rebbe speaks of it even in this moment. There's the Torah is Chachmasei Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and the Ratzin is higher, right? The mitzvahs are Ritzoynei Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Okay. How do we know that Ratzin is higher than Seichel? Because we know when we want to do something, good or bad, even if it makes no sense, we do it, right? That's because the Ratzin is higher than Seichel. The mitzvahs are of a higher level than the Torah. But I'm saying even that, you could do all the mitzvahs. You could do mitzvahs all day long and all week long, and you're still not Oisin Ritzoynei Shel Mokim.
ההבדל הוא בעצם, מה שהרבי מדגיש במים זה שאפשר לעשות הרבה מצוות, אפשר לעשות כל היום מצוות, אבל עדיין לא נמצאים ועושים רצונו של מקום. זה ההבדל בפרשה הראשונה לפרשה השנייה בקריאת שמע, ובפרשה הראשונה כתוב בכל מאודיך, בפרשה השנייה לא כתוב על נפשכם, על בת לנפשכם. זה עונה על סתירה שבפרשה הראשונה זה גם בזמן שעושים רצונו של מקום, בפרשה השנייה זה לא מופיע במשהו. אפילו שלא עושים רצונו של מקום, זה לא מופיע בפרשה השנייה.
The bottom line is that what the Rabbeim asked of us, the Rebbe always spoke about kiyum mitzvahs behidur. It's a term which is not found in other tribes. You don't find, they don't talk about kiyum mitzvahs behidur. They say it's not putting on film or even putting on. It's you want to do oisin etzayne shalmakom. You want to connect to the Eibishter on the highest level. Then it's oisin etzayne shalmakom. I would give you an example for marriage, but maybe it's not appropriate, right?
Too early.
Huh?
Too early.
Maybe a garnish. You'll remember this in 10 years if you understand it. You know, you can do everything your wife tells you to do. Take out the garbage, she'll take out the garbage. Diaper the kid, you can diaper the kid. Go buy some bagels. You can do everything you're told to do. But you what does it say? Oisin etzayne ba'alei. But you're not really satisfying it. You think the Eibishter needs your mitzvahs. Most folk in tzedakah matitin like that, he doesn't need your mitzvahs. He needs you. He needs your neshama. He needs your avos, right? He needs your b'choma idecha. That's what it's all about.
Go ahead. Yeah.